how we manage to run a business together, husband and wife. Apparently that's a struggle for a lot of people.
I think for us, though, we're always people that are willing to do the work.
It's the kids, work, our personal lives. That's just what we're committed to in life in general.
I love my job as a mom, and I don't resent that. Patience is more difficult at the end of the day when I'm tired.
Discipline is teaching them, no, you can't have 3 cookies, you can only have 2. That's personal discipline. Discipline isn't punishment. Discipline is teaching them the principles to become disciplined individuals, right?
Good afternoon, Mr. Stewman.
Well, hey, I'm Ryan. Running a business together.
One of the most rewarding things of your entire lifetime.
It is, but I got to be honest. I miss my wife not being stressed out.
I'm working on hiring an assistant.
And I miss you being, when I get home, I have made it a priority to unplug, basically. And I try to just decompress from work. And, I'm one of these people, I've been this way my whole life. I rush through work so that I can take a break. I rush through the workout so I can take a break in the gym. I rush through work and creating content so that I can take a break so that when I get home, I can actually decompress. And seeing you not be able to do that is...
I don't decompress.
and you're an addictive personality. When you get onto something, you're latched onto it and you want to be the best at it. And I appreciate that. But it is...
I'm just an overachiever.
It is, seeing, I don't think you came to bed till like 11 or 12 last night. Like,
I had some of Colton's
too.
Leftover birthday flan and some Pinot Noir while I worked. Don't get...
He was definitely not feeling.
He was not feeling
the
that
happy birthday flan.
I didn't know Mikasina sang to
We're getting
people.
close. It's Thursday.
I didn't know Mikasina sang to people. I was so excited. He was not excited.
He was not. He slid down in his chair.
Uh-huh.
But he was also not in a good mood because I corrected him a couple times.
You corrected him on getting up and walking around to us.
Yeah. He was not happy.
He's not at the sit in your chair age. That's fine.
People ask me at the event that we just had this weekend how we managed to run a business together, husband and wife. Apparently that's a struggle for a lot of people. And it's not that it's not a struggle for us. It's not for us. It's not a struggle for us. I think for us, though, we're always people that are willing to do the work. I agree.
We both are. And so marriage is work. A job is work. And so now we have 2 full-time jobs together.
Yeah. And raising kids. So 3.
Yeah.
3. If you were to individualize, it's like raising 3 different companies. You have a marriage as a company, kids as a company, and then work with bunches of companies.
Bunches of companies. Bunches and bunches and bunches. Yeah. Well, and I think honestly, it's hard giving other people advice on this because we just do the work. We're people that aren't afraid to do the work, and that's pretty rare. So I do love giving people advice on what works for us and like little, hacks and tricks that make it easy for us. But that doesn't mean it's simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy.
We're both people that what's required gets resolved. And that's what we do in anything, whether it's the kids, work, our personal lives, whatever the case. If it's required, it gets resolved. That's just what we're committed to in life in general, And I think a lot of people in their marriage, one person may be like that and the other's not, which causes problems. But I also you respect me as the leader of the household and everything, but I also return that respect to you and put you in the leadership role too. I mean, I correct the kids more about how and this bothers you, but I correct the kids more about how they don't act right or they take too much demanding of your time or they disrespect you more than anything else.
I don't mind it because I understand like they are teeny tiny little humans that are 100% dependent on their moms.
They are not teeny tiny.
I always see... Harlan's teeny tiny.
No, she is not.
I always think of, the nature shows to watch. There's like the new on Netflix for Netflix kids, like animals. And there was this one of this little baby monkey. And it's like the baby monkey, it's latched onto that mama. That's how it eats. That's how it, knows what to do. The mama is supposed to nurture and guide and teach that baby. I understand that's a full-time job and I'm here for it. I'm here to do the work. And so with the kids, I truly, see into them and understand like they don't know what they don't know, and they exist to be taught and exist to learn. And so I'm always teaching them, and I love that, and I'm here for that, and I'm totally fine that they are still very dependent on me for things. And like with Colton, I'll make him go get his own napkin and stuff like that. But it's nurturing, telling him to go get his own napkin and letting him understand he's capable, not scolding like get your own napkin. Like no, it's I love my job as a mom, and I don't resent that, even though patience is more difficult at the end of the day when I'm tired. But I love it. I love that job. And I can tell you get mad because you're like, just let my wife chill. But I'm like, they're our babies. They're not going to let me chill. And that's okay.
Well, last night's a great example. We have a 6-year-old who's super sensitive, and we have a 2-year-old who's super demanding. I snatched the 2-year-old up and went and put her in her bed. I had enough of her shit last night. And Amy's like, don't do that to her. I was like, you just shut the fuck up. I got this.
But you did the right thing. I did the right thing.
She came back with a different attitude too, didn't she?
Yeah, she went from being.
I don't have to spank her. I just picked her up and put her in her bed and said, you stay right here. I'm tired of your crap and whining and demanding. You're staying right here. Amy's like, she doesn't understand. Like, she understands. She knows exactly. These kids play a different role for mom than they do for dad. Now, totally, Amy doesn't know. Like, she doesn't know what they're like when they're just on the ranch with me.
Student children, because I don't see it because I'm always with them.
But
I believe they exist.
You don't see how they are when they're on the ranch with me. I know they're self-supportive and figure shit out. Our 2-year-old goes last night, gets in the pantry after just screaming and hollering and running amok and causing problems. We're trying to have family huddle, and she's just interrupting everybody.
But family huddle, he means we're sitting down for a nice family dinner, and we are having our nighttime family huddle prayer.
Right.
Continue.
Yeah. And so she gets up and then goes into the pantry, supposed to be eating, goes in the pantry, dumps a bag of chips all over the floor. I lost my shit.
It was the tortilla chips, at the bottom of the bag when it's teeny tiny.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of crumbs everywhere. I lost my shit, went in there, snatched her up, grabbed her purple night-night, and put her in her bed and said, you stay in here. No, I'm not. Oh, yes, you are.
You're staying right here. You got the purple night-night.
And she screamed at the top of her lungs for probably 10 minutes. Mom! She was trying to make bond. Mom! And I'm like, oh, hell no, mom's not coming. Mom's not coming. I'm going to put her in the bed if she goes in there.
She's trying to make bond. She's got a comfortable bed. I've snuggled in there before.
And so I said, as soon as she stops crying, I was telling the other 2 boys, as soon as she stops crying, I'll let her out. She cried for 10 minutes, and finally she got quiet for about 2 minutes, and I was like, all right, let's go let her out. You gonna be cool? Yes. You promise? Yes. Don't bother your mom. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
She's smart, right? And then, Colton's Mr. Sensitive, and if you correct him, he gets all in his feelings. And Amy says, I correct him really hard, but I'm trying to create him into being a man. And when you get correction, you get direction. And sometimes you need it pretty hard.
He's so smart, but he's not he is that really smart kid that doesn't have a lot of common sense. He's always observing, always putting the pieces together. And he's just next level. He's 2 steps ahead. And you're like, oh, let's learn. You want to do algebra? Let's learn mathematics, basic addition first. But for him, what he said to you last night, you say all the time. He was just repeating what you said. He didn't realize the sarcastic connotation at all. 6-year-olds do not understand sarcasm. They're black and white, simple.
I disagree.
He will say things sarcastically, but he does not necessarily grasp it fully. But what he said, you say all the time at that time of day. And so he was just repeating that. And you were correcting him in a way that was very forceful with your words. And he's very sensitive. And so he didn't mean to do anything wrong. He didn't mean to say that inappropriately. He's just,
I kept to bring up, come, look at me.
I know, you know what's funny?
No, look at me. We're going to have this conversation.
But you know what's funny is that I'll correct you for correcting him, and then he gets mad at me for correcting you.
Yep.
And then it's funny. It's a little circus, little game we play.
Well, and I had to tell Amy, I'm like, you stay out of it. You shut up and stay over there. I'm dealing with this because if not, they'll not get disciplined. Amy, high love, low discipline. Me, high discipline, high love.
High love, high discipline. But when I discipline,
None. There's a little yelling occasionally in the morning. Get in the car. But there's no discipline. Discipline isn't punishment. Discipline is teaching them the principles to become disciplined individuals, right? Like discipline is teaching them, no, you can't have 3 cookies. You can only have 2. That's personal discipline. Discipline is no, you shouldn't say that. You say this instead, right? Here's the correction. Discipline and correction are synonymous, not discipline and punishment. Amy doesn't correct them nor punish them. But that's my job. And I don't mind being the quote unquote bad guy occasionally. But last night, I just wanted some quiet. You know, guys, we come home.
You can't have quiet with 4 kids, honey.
We just need some peace. We only got 3 last night. There was only 3. Jax was at the other house.
And a wife.
And you know, I just want some peace and quiet. And our 2-year-old does not believe in peace nor quiet.
Correct.
And she is just like on another level last night. And she's at an age where her answer for everything is because my wife. Well, what you do is when she cries, you try to subside those cries. For me, when she's with me, if she's crying, it's like, hey, knock it off. Ask me what you want and I'll make it happen. But this whole screaming thing ain't going to work. 2 trips to the ranch where she learned that behavior with me. She's like, if I want something from dad, I just go ask politely and he gets it for me. Right? Like she'll say chocolate milk for you. She doesn't do that for me. Chocolate milk. And I go get her chocolate milk. Amy sometimes doesn't realize the monster that she's created.
No, and that's
last night it was to a point where I was like, this is why single moms raise serial killers. I've had fucking enough.
He said that. He said, this is why single moms raise serial killers. And I'm like, okie dokie. I think we could look at serial killer history and find one.
Probably not.
Neutral family.
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
But, you know, last night I just wanted some peace and quiet. You know, and I'm really disappointed in Andy Frisella and Patrick Bet-David because neither one of them released an episode on YouTube last night. So I had to find something else. That's like my version of Fox News. And so I had to, Fox News dads are good. You know what I mean? And it's what Shane Gillis says. Fox News dad, that's a good dad. And so my version of Fox News, I don't like Fox News, awesome. But I like Andy Frisella and I like Patrick Bet-David because they give us the news, but with liberals and conservatives, not Andy, but Patrick. And he's a really good moderator between the people that he has on his show. And I like Andy. I agree with Andy Frisella's point of view. So I usually watch 1 or 2. I can't always watch Andy though, because he's so angry, seemingly angry, like I am. Sometimes he pumps me up, right? And I'll be like, yeah, fuck those people, right? And so I can't always watch him. And he cusses a lot, and me cussing and him cussing and the kids hearing that, it can be a little overwhelming. So, but neither one of them had new episodes last night. So I learned about a Mexican gangster rapper from G County, which is Galveston County, named Peso Peso.
G County.
Him and his homies, the Mexican OT, had like this whole show documentary on him, and I was watching.
I'm sure that language was there was no cussing.
I watched it in the bedroom because I had enough of y'all shit last night, and I went and I watched it and I was like, man, these guys are pretty cool. So I've been jamming them all day today. But I like to represent people from my state. So you blew off your
family to go hang out with Peso Peso in G-Town.
Well, I can't hang out with him because he has an ankle monitor and I'm a felon, and I don't think that they'll let him hang around with me right now. But I went to go watch a documentary on him. So
yeah, how do you feel? Relaxed.
Well, I'm glad.
That's not relaxing. How do you unwind with prison?
Well, it's funny you say that. It was a documentary on him from Tommy G, which I like Tommy G as well. He's a YouTube channel. And the cool thing was, you know, he was displaying him being a dad and how his son was very respectful. He has like a 7 or 8 year old son, very respectful, nice kid. And they live in a nice house now. And it was one of those stories like me. He used to live in the hood. Now he lives in a mansion. He's got really good kids. And, you know, now he's a rapper and, you know, portraying himself to be a certain way. But I remember in the documentary, he goes, so you guys like keep guns here? He goes, no, I don't have any guns. No guns around me. No friends and guns. I don't get in cars with people with guns. And I'm like, yeah, that's shit I would say too, right? Like, no guns, none at all, not ever, right?
I don't know what they are, what they look like, what they sound like.
Never seen one in my life. Not sure what exactly that is. And so, you know, I just kind of like caught the preview of that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna check this out. These guys are from Texas. I like Texas shit, so I'm gonna see what this is about.
You sure do.
And I love Texas. And so these guys are representing the South of Texas and the Hispanic culture of Texas, which are both I have a lot of admiration for. So I was enjoying it, you know.
Good for you.
Like that dude, I saw that Mexican OT on Joe Rogan, and I'm like, who is this guy? And it was an interesting story that he was talking about, you know, his mom and dad being in and out of prison, his mom being the shot caller for the gang that he's a member of and all this stuff. And in past lives, because they're rappers now, they make their money from YouTube and stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting, but I never heard his music. But last night they played a few tracks on the documentary. I was like, I could bump this shit, man. We about to have accordions, trombones, and trap music going on in the workout facility in the morning, you know? And sure enough, we did.
Oh, yeah?
Speaking of which, where I work out at, it's this place called CrossFit Templum in Plano. And I've worked out there for a long time, for 6 years or so, you know, because Mark was there originally too.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been with Dante for 2.5 years now, but my friend Eric owns it. And Eric, I know Eric from church, and remember his son Cross played soccer with Asher Jackson when Bellamy was coach. So I guess that was Jackson. And Eric, you know, if you watch this, bro, I love you, but you have the shittiest white person taste in music and history. Me and Dante laugh at your music choice, and it's so fucking loud that AirPods won't zone it out.
He's probably has to choose something that's just like neutral crowd favorite type of stuff.
But it's like, nobody's favorite, right? It's like
mid-energy
it's like
hits.
Rave music mixed with kind of like clean rap, and it's just horrible. It's fucking horrible. And I walk in this morning and this shit's louder than I've ever heard it before. And I was like, Dante, we're gonna have to fucking gang up on this.
What
dude.
Song was it?
Dante's like, I could take him by myself. I'm not worried about it.
What song is it?
I don't even know. It was that horrible. I don't even know it.
You want to sing it?
But like, if you could take two genres of music that don't belong together and mash them up, that's Eric's favorite. You know, so
interesting.
So tomorrow, but days when Eric's not there, Dante takes over the radio, and so we're, you know, it's like,
do people
and we
work
like
out?
old school rap music because both of us are a little older, so we like the Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, Kanye, that kind of stuff, right? Eric, he's like Skrillex and, you know, LL Cool J or some shit like that. It's fucking horrible.
Oh, like the dubstep stuff,
but with
dubstep era,
but with like
ish,
but like popular, like mainstream rap songs that are terrible that you never listen to unless you're like at Sambuca on a Thursday night with your date, you know. And so if you're from Plano, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, to reference Sambuca.
You'd be at Sambuca is the where older couples go to play. It's like, it's not just a cougar den though, because it's a lot of couples. It's the
cougar couple den.
First of all, that restaurant and meat casino are the only ones that have survived in West Plano for 20 years. They've both been there for 20 years. So they've nailed their demographic.
You mean the west side of Shops at Legacy?
No, the east side.
East side.
They have nailed their demographic, but their demographic is people my age and older, and their
Looking
dates
to get nailed.
and their dates or their wives. And so it's a lot of guys in Robert Graham shirts and khakis with their sleeves rolled up and their loafers on and their Rolex on, and they pull up in their Mercedes or
cute little skirts with
or the
of
occasional Lamborghini, but nobody is in their 20s in this place. And look, I'm not in my 20s either, but there's a lot of silver hairs in there, you know, both men and women.
So concerned. Like, you always make fun of me because I like what I like, and I like to look polished, and I like wearing my white blazer, and you're like, yeah, you're wearing your Hillary Clinton suit. But these ladies are walking through there like looking to just like get down on a Wednesday night or whatever it was. Like, and they're like
Wednesday, yeah.
like little aquamarine mini skirt and like platform heels. I'm like, I feel like your mother.
And they're old enough to be your mother.
They absolutely are. And I was like, you're so Glinda. Settle it down.
Glinda.
Just pull it down a little bit. Oh my gosh.
That place has like the local bands that have been around forever, and I forget their name, but they play there often, and they've been playing the same 80s and 90s hits, and they're really entertaining, and they're good at what they do. That's why they play there all the time. But it's like if you go to the Wynn in Vegas, it attracts an older crowd, so they play 70s music. If you go to the Cosmo in Vegas, it attracts a younger crowd, so they're playing the latest music on the radio. Sambuca's like the Wynn, you know, a lot of silver-haired dudes and Bentleys pulling up there.
So I want to touch back to something that we talked about earlier, and I didn't we got segued on Sambuca and
Peso.
peso.
The
But
hardest essay ever.
with us working together, I think the number one thing in terms of our marriage that I've implemented, and I think I started doing this about 8-9 months ago, even before I was working full time here, is that I was really focused on, because then when I wasn't working full time with you, I was really focusing on us maximizing our time together and us in our marriage. And I was really getting clear on me and my mindset and my focus and my goals, because even though at that time I was more of a stay-at-home mom, like I always do little stuff for you and I always speak on stage with you and whatnot, but I was still like part-time.
Once a year.
But I was just on stage last week.
Once a year. When were you on this year before that?
Flying Friday, like twice.
That was a Q&A.
There was a stage. I was on it. I was speaking.
You've already done more this year than usually MDM is your time, and that's it. And it's not by my choice. I'd have you running Flying Friday if it was up to me.
This
anyway,
guy. I've even hosted a Flying Friday with before too.
Don't believe it, people. She will lie to you.
I will get the footage right now.
We're gonna have to find that because I don't remember it.
I literally hosted Flying Friday
5 years ago.
No, in October.
I ain't buying it.
Oh my gosh!
There's not even a Flying Friday in October. I'm not buying it.
It's October 12th.
Okay. We're gonna need to roll the footage back on that one.
What did I get you? Thank God we record everything. Oh my gosh, it made me go. So I was really trying to be intentional, very intentional with our marriage, our time together, because you're so busy. So the only time, I didn't come to the office here and wouldn't see you at the office. So the only time we get together is when you were at home. If you weren't working, you weren't at business dinners or whatever, our time together. And then you go to bed early. You go to bed like at 8.
I'm up early.
You'll be snoring at 7:45 sometimes.
I'm up early,
so our chunk of time together was very, very limited. So it's very intentional. I made a point that when I'm talking to you about what's going on in my life, with my friends, with my hobbies and everything, that I'm always positive. I'm always positive about what I tell you about experiences. I don't want to bitch to you about a friend that's doing stupid stuff. Like what would that do? Negativity breeds negativity.
Make
Positivity
me not like your
breeds
friend.
Exactly. And what is that going to do? Because I still want to hang out with them. And so I was so intentional about being positive, and that just became an absolute habit. And I realized, because at first it was kind of hard, because I'd like, especially if there was something I wanted to talk to you about, is maybe a difficult conversation, right? I'd be like, okay, how can I frame this in a different way? That's me not complaining. That's me not, one thing or the other. Like, I really want to address this, but I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be. So it got to be a skill that I really honed in on. And now it's awesome because I can talk to you about anything, because I've mastered that skill of framing things in a positive way where, like, this is something we can benefit from. Because at the end of the day, any problem is something you can benefit from if you frame it that way. And with us, I make sure that the things I talk about are positive things. And what's so fascinating about that is that it's made our marriage on such a solid, awesome level and vibration of just us constantly being in that good place, because we're talking about negative things. We're overcoming problems so easily with these positive attitudes. And then two, like, in terms of my own headspace and my own peace, like how much stress does that alleviate when you're just immediately going to the positive? I've
Well, it kind of drives me nuts
if
I just need to vent about something, and Amy's over here going, well, blah blah blah. It could be blah. I was like, shut the fuck up, penny
attitude.
Positivity.
You do.
That's
call
not
me
how
penny positivity.
I do. I call her penny positivity. Like, just let me bitch for a minute. That's how I work through shit, with violence.
Stop complaining.
Yeah.
But it's a liberating headspace to be in when and it really is a tool that you can sharpen. Just immediately going to the positive in anything. Like, I've been on this phone call with this chick. They've charged us, taken $185 out of the income for this one rental property to pay for the landscaping for another rental property that we sold in November. But what the hell?
Why?
And
first of all, fuck the people that bought that house from me, because they should be. They're just like, oh, somebody's mowing our yard. We'll let them. You fucking roaches. I hope you watch this shit and fucking send you a bill, bitch. Back to penny positivity.
Back to penny positivity. So I'm on this phone and I'm talking to this woman. So she's just telling me about this AC repair that we need to do, and I'm like, oh. okay, that's
refund us the fucking landscape bill.
I said, so are you going to deduct what you owe me for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost like maybe 6 months that you've incorrectly charged me for the landscaping on this? Because it's about actually you owe me money.
Right.
It not just cancels out this AC repair bill. It was just like, oh, I don't know. That's bookkeeping. Okay. I'm like, there was no apology about like, oh, wow. We charged you for 6 months of a bill. Like, I'm sorry. It was just like oh.
Yeah. Realtors be realting.
You don't own a rental property, do you? You don't have to, like, really? Like, there's no, like, you don't, oh, that's not my department. Like, oh. It's irritating. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, I'm not paying that fucking AC bill until you pay me my landscaping bill. Yeah.
I just call them and I'm not as nice as you. I'm
well,
like,
what's funny is that then I get an
stupid?
email
I
afterwards.
pay you to do this for a living, and now I'm having to do your job and point out your flaws where the whole fucking point of having property management is to alleviate the stress on my end, and now I'm stressed the fuck out. You're fired. What? Well, and then they're like, but we wouldn't. They get like, they start talking like Foghorn Leghorn. Well, I would never. You
That's my
fucking
favorite
retards. Like,
you do. It's my favorite voice of yours.
You know, they do. They all get all high and mighty like they're from the deep South Mississippi or some shit, you know?
No, this
I picture them when they start with that voice, like wearing a Colonel Sanders outfit. You know what I mean? Like, well, I would never fry chicken with only 5 seasons and spices. It's 7 herbs and spices down here in Kentucky. Fucking roaches. This shit drives me nuts.
Can you be Colonel Sanders for Halloween? I'm just I thought we were going to do like a whole Simpsons thing where you were going to be Ned Flanders. Harlan was going to be Lisa. I was going to be Marge. We got
So
Bart,
I'm the neighbor. I'm not even the leader of the family. I'm just...
No, I want you to be Ned Flanders. I want you to just say, oh my diddly. Like, Harlan can be Lisa. Colton can be Bart. And then Jax and Asher can be one of the degenerate characters. Yeah. With like the bully, Jax can be the bully.
Jax can be Nelson. Yeah, Jax can be Nelson.
Should we have Asher be Homer?
No, Asher should be the kid that's kind of like the...
I'll be Marge.
No, Asher should be the kid that he wears a white shirt and he has shorts on all the time. And I think he
wears pants.
Is the police chief's son.
Oh.
I forget his name, but he's kind of like the quiet, reserved kid on The Simpsons. It's kind of the nerd, which Asher's not a nerd, but he's kind of the quiet, reserved.
I have no idea which one you're talking about.
I'll pull him up. So.
Oh, I think I know. Is his hair kind of like grayish purpley and his glasses?
No, that's
Yeah, no.
He has a Jewish name. That one does. Milkhouse, something like that. Yeah, Millhouse. Yeah, that's not Asher. So that's the.
Well, now that we've established our Halloween costumes, you can do Colonel Sanders for something else.
But you can't be Marge.
Colonel
you
Sanders
be
and
Ned's
a chicken.
Wife.
That would be such a fun Halloween costume. Colonel Sanders and a chicken.
Yeah.
I'll be a cute chicken.
You could be Peter Griffin and the chicken. They fight. That's pretty funny.
What the fuck? What is that?
On the Family Guy.
What?
The chicken and Peter Griffin. There's like 10 episodes where it's 5 minutes of the episode's him and this chicken fighting and destroying
like
everything.
A full-size chicken?
Like a full-size fucking chicken. Like Foghorn Leghorn. Yeah, 6 foot tall chicken. Is he dreaming? No, they're mortal enemies. So if they see each other, they just...
Is this chicken a mascot at a fast food restaurant?
No, he just does not fucking like this chicken. The chicken and him got beef.
Where is this chicken? Just walking along the sidewalk?
Sometimes it shows up and it's like, and then Peter's like, and it's just like fucking game the fuck on. I don't know where it comes from, but it's entertaining as hell.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind being like Foghorn Leghorn or
that's a Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders, you know.
Oh, well, Foghorn Leghorn, you do that.
Well, I would never cook chicken with 6 herbs and spices.
Is there a female
That's going to be
chicken?
my tagline for the night because, you know, Kentucky Fried Chicken is 7 herbs and spices.
We've established that. Thank you for reiterating.
Just in case the people don't get the inside joke, you know, sometimes my humor.
I actually didn't know the number of spices, but you said it about 4 times, so I got it.
Okay.
Got it locked in.
Well, you're pretty sharp, you know.
I am. Oregano, cayenne, salt, pepper.
Paprika, not cayenne.
If it's spicy, then it's probably cayenne.
They're not. It's not.
We'll agree.
If it's spicy chicken,
agree
but the original recipe is not spicy.
Okay. And then
That would
maybe
be
a
8
little,
herbs and spices.
maybe they've got a little bit of ground mustard to offset the greasiness. I don't know.
Nobody knows. It's locked in like Fort Knox next to the gold that doesn't exist anymore.
Because we sold it.
Well, we don't have it. I don't know where it is. Probably sitting in Iraq somewhere.
Maybe. Okay.
But yeah,
What else do you think is a good
transition there?
Tidbit, tip, and trick? Thanks. Tidbit, tip, and trick of us working together. Because penny positivity apparently bothers the shit out of you, but I think it's great. I think it works.
Doesn't bother me.
Because we have so people don't realize I'm not just I don't even know what company I'm technically the CEO of, but you have like 6, 7 active companies that they're all incestual, and there's all I do all of it. Everybody comes to me for everything. So we have so many different hurdles that come at us every day that we manage and navigate together. And I still give a gigantic testament to the positive attitude, and that's just incessant. But in your opinion, what do you think?
Well, I think that since you were dictated into being the CEO,
you did,
and
you dictated, and here I am.
That my job is not to be your boss. My job is to let you do your job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't believe there's tricks in running a business or in a marriage, but I believe that if you make your wife or your significant other the CEO of the company, if they become the CEO of the company, then you let them do that, right? And so if you tell me to do something, I do it. If I tell you something needs to get done that's on the CEO level, you do it. And we're not really arguing about whose job's what over here. That helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's my stuff, I do it. If it's your stuff, you do it. If I need your help, like this morning, I came in and looked at the closer capital payroll because there was a couple numbers that were off slightly.
Good.
And it was because there was delayed transactions and the numbers were off. It was actually $6,000 more than what Dave had on the thing. And that's what I was saying. Taylor was like, oh no, I'm not trying to, overstate my income. It's like, no, I don't think that's the case. And I came in here, it was like $6,700 more that we had made that I needed to figure out where that came from and whatever. Nice. Because it's one thing to get in this instance, we get sheets from our brokers that say how much we've gotten paid, but that doesn't mean that, or how much is coming to us, but that doesn't mean it all hit at the same time. We might get a notice, something funded, and then they may not pay us for a week or 2 weeks after that. And so, I'm not paying on what's funded. I'm paying on what is funded in my bank account. And so I came in and checked on that. But typically, that's kind of your job is to look at the money and do payroll and stuff like that. But I came in here and I was like, I'll solve it. Right. But I think that
I have no idea the closer capital stuff you do.
Right. And
I don't know your deals and your commission
and so I think, letting someone stay in their own lane, just like we let Sean stay in his lane here. Mm-hmm. We don't ask the salespeople to come step over into operations. We just hired somebody that was the reason why they quit their job to come here, because they were in operations and someone had them keep crossing over into another lane. Mm-hmm. And there's 2 ways to cross over into another lane. There's swerve over and cut somebody off, which is what most companies do. It's like, oh, now you're in operations. Oh, now this is your responsibility. It's like, dude, I'm in sales. It's like there's a comedian named Mitch Hedberg, and he is like, they and I like Mitch and I like comedy, and rest in peace. And he says, I get really good at comedy and they call me up to Hollywood and they're like, but can you write? And he goes, that's like being a really good cook and asking, can you farm? Right? Like it's 2 totally different things. And so a lot of people don't understand that. So that's kind of swerving into somebody's lane. And then there's the right thing to do, which is kind of put a blinker on before you get into somebody's lane. Hey, if you were to do this, that's something you might be interested in, or you think you can handle that task. And so I think we're really good about putting blinkers on before we cut over into each other's lane, as opposed to just swerving over there, which helps a lot because you see it blinking. I'm coming over. If you speed up and try to cut me off, could lead into a collision. If I speed up and try to cut you off, could lead into a collision. But we got a blinker on before we get into the lane, so at least you knew I was coming over there. It's not a surprise.
In what instance would you say you blinker me?
I like to swerve, It's like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I knock on your door before I walk in there.
Are you busy?
But in it, for instance, putting a blinker on from you last night, you're like, hey, is this payroll correct with Dave? Would you mind taking a look at that? That's putting a blinker on, right?
Yes.
Instead of going, hey, fucking payroll, tell me what it is, right?
We're
like you put a blinker on. We're very polite.
Yeah, I feel like that is true.
Same
like
with me. Hey, Amy, there's two
have...
people in Apex that have beef right now. And I don't think that I'm qualified to settle this because I'm going to hold them both accountable and they're going to be butthurt with me being brutally honest with them. Would you mind having a conversation with, I would normally do this, but since it's two women, I don't think I'm the guy for this job. Would you mind having this conversation with them? That's a blinker.
You do make a valid point there where it's, when we're here, when we are working, we do put on our, respectful work hats. And I don't speak to you as if you're at home in the kitchen with me.
No, and I don't do that either.
Like when we're here, we do have there's a certain reverence we have and respect towards one another in the job that each of us does, and it's not
we have people watching
go do
us.
this, and but that aside, I think we the way we treat each other is with a lot of respect because I know how much you do and you know how much I do, so
and we both want the common goal. Let's build the Stewman empire.
That's the best.
That's
part.
The common goal. It's like it's not like Amy's trying to sabotage the money here because of something going on. It's not like I'm trying to be lazy and not make us money. Like we're both here to serve the Stewman empire,
and that's what makes it really
powerful. Put that
powerful.
kingdom first.
I think it puts you have a lot of peace of mind because it's not like, oh shoot, it's 6:00, is she even gonna look at her phone? No, I'm always looking at stuff. I'm always doing stuff and getting stuff done. And then for me, I have such huge peace of mind because I know the person that's running this ship, like you, are unstoppable. So it makes my job a lot easier knowing that I can have full faith in you to do your job and vice versa.
Yep, I agree.
I think it's a big piece of why it works so good.
I agree. We both trust each other. And the fact is, again, we want the same common goal. You don't have to, you hire an outsider, they can steal money from you because they don't share the same goal as you. They can get selfish. Like it's all going to the same account for us. If you need something that you don't have the money, we keep separate bank accounts, which keeps us from arguing about who spends money on what on both ends. I might show up and buy a new watch. She might buy something on Nordstrom's for a couple grand that she's been shopping with or whatever.
I don't spend that much money.
No, but you might go shopping a couple times a year to get a new wardrobe because it's, that's just style and seasons, right? And so that way it keeps us from going, oh shit, you spent $2,000. I spent $5,000. That's $7,000 that I wasn't prepared to be out. And it just keeps that easy. But both of us, we're dedicated to the ultimate goal, which if we don't respect each other, here's what I know. If I don't respect you and I don't treat you that way, you won't want to come in here anymore. And then I'm fucked. I'm fucked because I've already been fucked without you. And so if I don't respect you and don't appreciate what you're doing here, you won't do it anymore. Yeah. And then I'm screwed because I got to find somebody else that I can trust. And those people are few and far between.
No,
because somebody can log into our bank account or see what we got going on and go, dude, there's so much shit here. They'll never miss it. They'll never. And you know what? It's happened. And I don't want that to happen again, and I'm very protective of that. So I know that all else besides the fact that I love you and you're my wife and everything else, I know that I have to operate on that level, or I'm going to lose that, which costs both of us fucking money and time potentially in the future. Because what if there was a $6,700 deficit instead of a surplus on this payroll? Yeah. And I didn't catch that, and I'm out $6,700. Taylor's a good person, but she thought the money had already there, right? And so,
I already how many times a year off that payroll, by the way,
right? But how many times a year could we? How many times a year could that happen, or a month could that happen? We look up at the end of the year, and now I'm like, damn, this fucking person stole $100,000 from me. Fuck, or worse, right? I mean, we had people in here before you. They're spending $200,000-$300,000 a month on credit cards, and our credit card bill's not been more than $35,000 this year since I got rid of them.
I know.
And I am not willing to go through that fucking pain again. No. I'm not. And that person was just, it's not their money. They didn't work for it. So they just fucking paid any invoice, anytime, anywhere. And it's like, whoa. We don't even fucking use this.
Yeah,
who
show a
ordered
little
this?
discernment and respect. There was just the respect factor wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now we know.
And I respect my money because I know how hard I work for it. People I think outsiders look at a guy like me and they're like, okay, well, he's on stage Big fucking deal. Dude, we just did the Jeremy Minor event Friday and Saturday. I tried to get Kayla to not, I can't go to dinner Saturday night. We got this, that. Oh no, you're going. No, Kayla, seriously, I got to get home to my kids. And I'm not going to lie. I wanted to be like, babysitters got to leave, but I can't lie, and she's really good at sales too. Her and Jeremy are closers. And I like them. I wanted to go spend time with them. And ultimately I'm glad I did, but I was so freaking exhausted from being on stage that a lot of people, they don't understand that. They're like, oh, he's just up there talking. No, I'm working the crowd. I'm vibing off the energy. I'm coming up with something to fill the space. I'm coming up with something to where there's no silence for the 4 hours that I got to be up here today. Like, it's a lot.
You're more methodical than that.
And it's a lot, and for 3 days this week, I'll do the same thing, starting tomorrow. They come from far and wide. Starting tomorrow, people start making their way to the House of Greatness here. And they come and they pay good money to be here, just like people did last weekend. They pay thousands of dollars to be here. I need to make it impactful for them. I need my ultimate goal every time that happens, whether I'm speaking for an hour as a keynote at an event somewhere in Arizona or in Florida, or whether I'm here in the House of Greatness and I'm just serving my own people. The whole goal is when they leave, go, dude, I took a lot from that. That was the greatest event ever. Yes. I needed that. And to have those expectations and pressure on you to deliver for me this week, 3 days in a row, even if it's an hour and I'm competing against Ed Milet and E.T. and these other like professional speakers. I'm not a professional speaker. I'm a businessman that shares my stories on stage at places. I'm not an influencer. I'm not a professional speaker. I'm just a dude that gets up there and talks about the things that I've learned. And really, more than that, I'm a teacher, right? And so I'm an entertaining teacher, and I got to be the guy that when they leave, they go, you know what? It was nice. I was inspired by Ed Milet, but that Stewman guy, that made the most impact of mine. I got that amount of pressure on me everywhere I go. So I don't get invited to a lot of places anymore, because I do steal the show a lot, because that's my intention, not necessarily to steal the show, but to show up and be the guy. Show up and be the guy that's like, fuck, if that guy can do it, fuck, I need to take that guy's lead. Dude, that guy motivated me. That guy inspired me. I got to be that. And people think, oh, it's just standing on stage speaking. And they have no idea. I make it look easy because that's the character I play, but they have no idea the amount of pressure. So, when I got off of work Friday, and we had to go to the Cowboy Club till 10. That was the last place I wanted. Now, first of all, I love those people. I love Jeremy and Kayla. I love going to the Cowboy Club. But I was exhausted. And then knowing that in 6 hours, I'm going to have to get up, turn around, and do it again for a whole day, and then go to dinner again till 10 o'clock at night, which, again, we were with Sean and Jennifer, Jeremy, Kayla. We had a great time on Saturday night, too. I wouldn't take it back, but man, then knowing that I got to wake up Sunday morning at 7 again and be out the door at 7:30 with my kids, my wife, 15 employees and friends, and transport them to another state and get them on ATVs and show them how shit works and where to get gas and help them, show them where they can shoot guns and where they can catch fish and all, like, fuck. And then we're here yesterday and then today. So like, people think, oh, this life is just this fun thing. And don't get me wrong, it is very fun. And I'm not complaining. These sound like first world problems, and they're not problems. They're fun things, but it is very taxing. Go look at my old videos from just 6 years ago. I look 40 years younger just 6 years ago. That is facts. Go to my old YouTube videos and you're like, oh, this must have been Stewman in his 20s. No, I was 40. I'm 44 now. A lot has happened in 4 years because now I've got a massive amount of pressure. And so you understand that.
Sure
and
do.
I understand the pressure that's on you to make sure the back end of that stuff works properly so that I can go out there and focus. Like, I come home and I sit there and you may think, oh, he's watching Andy Frisella or Patrick Bet David. I'm taking notes on how to communicate and things that matter so that I can get better on the next thing. Those are the dudes that I look up to. Those are the dudes that are playing on the level that I want to play on. So that's who I'm modeling and watching and seeing how I could fit. I'm different personality than both of those guys. So I'm watching and seeing how they communicate and what I might put into my own stuff over here and what I can do to be better. And it fucking never ends. On the way to the gym in the morning, I'm listening to, the Morning Wire and then a book. And on the way to work, it never stops. It never stops.
A machine. And I honestly, that's one of the biggest blessings, I think, when I started working for you is that, I mean, I always knew you were busy.
You don't
I
work
knew
for
that you did
me.
a
You
lot
work with me.
with you. Nice correction. You're so sweet. But I really know like the ins and outs of every little thing you're doing. And so there's never any like void mentally. Like I understand everything you're doing. And there's never any type of distance between us in terms of like, okay, like before, like you'd go to the office, come home, and I'd be there and I don't know anything about your day. And you're tired, and so you're not going to sit there and tell me every little thing. Now I know everything, and so we're so aligned now. You know what I mean? Like I know all of the stuff you're doing. I know every little crazy thing you're doing because you do so much. You couldn't tell me everything that you do today if you tried after you came, because you do so much and have so many calls. And now, like I feel like I know everything, and that's a powerful thing because that helps me support you more and support you better.
And I'm the type of person that I can do 7 hours of work in 1 hour. And I get
You
down
are.
focus and I do what I'll do in an hour what most people do in a day. And I don't say
Yeah.
that to be disrespectful to most people. It's just that I make shit happen. And you know, during the Jeremy Minor event, Jeremy's running the event. I'm up here. I did a podcast. I did a Zoom. Then I'm back down from my slot. And then I'm back up here freaking doing like that's. And people are like, "Where did Stewman go?" It's like that guy's running like 3 different events today. What the fuck is
Yeah.
going? I'm literally running 3 different events while Jeremy's focused on one. I'm up here, and then at the end of the night, Jeremy goes, "Damn, you went and did all that in the hour that I spoke on stage." Like, fucking A, I did. He walked in here the other day and he goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm sending, 150 grand out for this, and then I'm writing a contract for $2 million for this, and then I'm writing another contract for 1.3 million. I think we got $190,000 collected on this." And he goes, "You don't have an assistant. You don't have a controller." He goes, "We pay, I'm not going to say the number, but it was a lot of money, more than my salary is in a year." He goes, "We pay X amount of dollars for somebody to do that for us." And I was like, "Well, I save that amount of money doing it myself." And he's like, "But why would you want to do that?" It's like, it's what's required.
Yeah.
Nobody's as good as me at it. And so I'm going to make sure that when this contract goes through and the bank needs to see it the way that they see it, that there's no mistakes made because someone else is an amateur and doesn't understand how I think. We like, for example, we're buying this piece of land and I got the bank to give me 60%. I got the seller to carry 40%. I got to make sure the contract reflects that. I got to make sure that the documents are correct, that the seller is an interest only second note that I can refinance in a year. I need to watch and make sure all the dots, all the T's, all the I's, all that stuff. Nobody that works here understands that. And there's other people that may work other places that understand that, but I'm not going to pay them more than me to do shit that I can do myself.
Right.
He did say this. He goes, "Well, what does everybody else here do? Sales and operations for a different company. This one I run myself."
Stewman party of one.
Yeah. But I negotiate those deals. You know how hard it is to talk somebody who doesn't know you into carrying 40% on $1 million note? That's $400,000 to a stranger.
It's a difficult conversation to have, sir.
And then convincing the realtor to shut the fuck up and stay out of my business until I'm done negotiating your contract and doing your job, and you can collect 3% and stop feeling like congratulations, you get the money. Now get the fuck out of my way and let me negotiate the deal. Right? A lot. I like realtors, most of them, some of them, and they serve a purpose, but I am also better than 99.99% of them. And a lot of times they'll tell me, like our dear friends the other day, I gave them a deal and I was like, "Look, you tell these people if they want this property," and they already fucked up. So you tell them if you want this property, I want $125,000 deposited into my account. Fuck the title company. It's not earnest money. It's non-refundable. And I'm going to spend it immediately because I got some other shit going on. And if they don't close, they're out that $125,000. No ifs, ands, or buts. I want that in the contract. They're never going to go for that. Just tell them. They're never going to come back. Nah, they're not going to do it. Just go tell them this. They're not going to. Okay, they're going to send you the money tomorrow, right? They would have never thought to negotiate that on their own. They're
That's
great people. They're
unreal.
very knowledgeable, but I deal in the absurd type of real estate. I'm not just going and buying single family houses or regular builder contracts and shit. I'm buying deals that are a little bit different and a lot more money than the average deal around here. A lot. We dealing in the millions, not in the hundreds of thousands. And I have a certain way about doing stuff. And they're like, I can't believe I've never seen anybody write in a contract that they're going to get 106 figures, let alone 5,000, but let alone $125,000 of earnest money deposited into their account to spend how they want. That's non-refundable and will never come back to them. I was like, now the pressure's on them to close.
Yeah.
Oh, and I raised the price $125,000. So the price I raised from the contract was $125,000, and I made them give me the cash up front. That's probably never happened in the history of real estate.
Mm-mm.
Right? Like, it's probably like maybe at a place like Mar-a-Lago or some shit, they might do something like that, or a commercial building, but that's so rare to be able to pull that off. But I'm like, look, I'm going to do it. Let me show you how to write it. Let me put it together for you.
Yeah.
You know, sit back and collect your money. And I got the buyer's real estate agent to take a discount on their commission for fucking the deal up in the first place.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And so I'm all these moving parts. I don't think anybody else can do that. Everybody else would be doing what I'm typically told all the time. You can't do that. Why not? A contract is a blank canvas. I can put whatever I want in there. That's how I look at it.
You know what? That you take something, you're not afraid to like think outside the box on anything.
Nope.
On anything. You
Fuck a
take
box.
something very complicated and you make it simple, and then you don't see why there should be limitations on anything. And you get very creative with everything you do. I think that makes you such a good deal maker.
That's why I'm the hardcore closer.
Yeah, you make it, you take complicated things, make it simple, and you understand what's really at stake. You go beyond surface level. A lot of people are so buttoned up, they think, okay, well, but people don't do that.
Yeah, well, they're doing it today.
So, but you
but a contract, whether it's real estate, business, the contract's blank. You can put whatever you want in those blanks. You can put and you know what? When you put what you want in the blanks, they can either say yes or no. If they say no, you don't got a deal. If they say yes, you got a deal.
That's
right?
Awesome.
And so many people are like, oh, these are templates, and nobody's ever put that in there before. No, they're not a template. It's a blank contract. We can put whatever we want in there. We can put that we want their firstborn kid, and if they're willing to give that up to get this property, and then we got a deal. Not that I want another kid, but
frowned upon or illegal,
right?
In most states, but
probably not.
We could do,
probably not.
It's definitely illegal.
I go to the court. It's a binding document. Look at me. I'm your father now.
Oh my God. Oh, don't do that.
But I could have had them throw a car in. I've had people throw cars in on deals before.
What?
I've done all sorts of shit. Fuck yeah. I've had them throw furniture in on deals before. Appliances.
Yes.
Cars. Power tools. I've gotten all sorts of shit.
Good night.
There's a little blank there. It says special provisions. This provision, we want that fucking car that's out there. We're coming for your car.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. Yeah, the wheels turning. And that's what's so interesting. I think that Colton and Asher are those outside the box thinkers. Totally, like, just without a doubt. Colton, I can see as the deal maker because he's tenacious. Asher's the quiet one. He's way more out of his shell now, but he's the quiet outside the box thinker. He's thinking outside of the box. But Colton, he's the tenacious outside of the box thinker. He asks the questions. He, isn't afraid to say what he's thinking.
Well, all you can do is get a no.
Different angle, totally different angle.
All you can get is the thumbs up or the middle finger. You
keep going until you get one or the other.
That's it. So, all right. So, final words.
Final words. I really liked us talking about us working together and realizing that just new, different, awesome benefits of why I love working with you. Because I didn't even think of some of that earlier. I've never thought about it in that perspective before, but here we are.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to talk about that.
And just remember, ladies and gentlemen, contracts are a blank canvas. You can paint whatever you want on there. Whatever you want. If you walk into a house and you like their dog and you got a deal that's good enough to where you can keep their dog, you can keep their dog. That aquarium can stay. A contract is a blank canvas. Let's normalize taking more shit than normal people would take. Let's just normalize that.
We did that with our prenup.
Yeah,
we were doing our prenup.
It was a blank contract.
And I've given people advice on that with prenups, as they, people like, so this chick was going to marry one of your clients, and she was all, all upset that he wanted her to sign a prenup. And I was like, no, just people have such a negative connotation with, but it can work to your benefit just as much as his, and doesn't necessarily have to address only like money. Like there's so many things that you can address in that. It's a contract. You can make it whatever you want on
You
there.
can put in that prenup. He wants to keep all the money. Cool. You put in that prenup that if he gets a beer belly, you're leaving his ass. That he owes you $250,000. You can put that in there. There's nothing that says you can't.
Put that in
if
there.
you get a beer belly, I get $250,000.
Hey.
You can put whatever you want in there.
Get to the gym, buddy.
That's it.
I love it.
Like, all right. I love you.
Okay, bye.